It's up to you. I just learned a couple.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. Makes you all like it.
All you need is love.
How you doing? You want to pick up that one? We're ready for half past. Just announce it here. That's absolutely.
It's sitting in Dawn and Fiona's office on the choir.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Mike, do you want to say something first, or will I just kick on?
No, just you just kick on.
And hand over to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming along. I'm going to kick off with a little song and then hand you over to some of your speakers tonight. It's a real privilege to be asked to come along and do this. And the song I've picked is maybe a bit of a cliche, but I couldn't think of anything more appropriate, so please feel free to join in. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. Above us on this sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill, Lord's just to. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You might say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world can live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can leave for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You might say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you will join us, and the world can live as one. Thank you very much. I'm going to have you on the mic. Cheers.
Thanks very much indeed. That was Nicky Lawson there. Thank you, Nicky. I'm Mike Arnott. I'm Secretary of Dundee Trade Union Council. I've been asked to MC the event today, and we'd like to thank you for gathering here today in the light of events in Paris at the weekend. But we're here not only to show our solidarity with those who died or were injured at the weekend, but also with victims in Beirut, in Egypt, in Syria, in Iraq, in all the places where terrorism and aggression leave civilian victims. We're also here to show that Dundee is together, all our communities in solidarity, all standing with each other to say that we will not allow any group in our society to be scapegoated for Saturday's events. Paris was close to us, but there are Parises happening every week to people we don't know, don't see, names we have a number of speakers. We'll try and keep it because it's freezing out here. The Secretary of Dundee City Unison and the Trade Union Movement are behind this event. I'd like to introduce Jim McFarlane.
Thanks very much, Michael. First of all, I want to pay, first of all, I want to congratulate the organisers of this, because this is really important that ordinary people like ourselves show our support and our solidarity for the victims of terrorism, in, Michael said, in Paris, but all the victims of terrorism across the world, whether it was Beirut the other day, whether it's Afghanistan and Iraq this time, and every other place where people are victims of terrorism. I like being heckled, it. The attack in Paris, the attack in Beirut, an attack on all of us. They were an attack on the right of their business in their city and in their streets on a Friday night. And it's important that we, as ordinary people, remember that we say that those acts of cowardice are not acceptable. We will not stand idly by and allow all those things to happen. We are rightly angered and horrified by the sights that we've seen on our TV screen on Friday, that those methods of IS or Daesh, name we want to call them are the same methods used by fascist groups. They're the same methods used by state dictators, and they're the same methods in the world. Terror is a political weapon that's used to divide ordinary people, to sew up our differences, to try and turn us against one another. And as a trade unionist and a socialist in this city, I do not accept that ordinary people come first of anything they want to argue that. And the anger governments of the West, that when they carry out acts of war in the Middle East and North Africa, that it's not in our name. It's not in my name that the people go there and bomb Iraq and Afghanistan and then don't expect there to be some comeback in this country. That we have to say that our message is we're opposed to those methods. Let's be clear, you don't fight fire with fire. You know, it doesn't work, it never has worked, and it never will work. We have to send that message clearly out to those. We have a responsibility to speak out. We have a responsibility to remember the victims in Paris and Beirut and all the other countries across the world where people are. We will not be intimidated and divided. We will not allow our Muslim brothers and sisters to be scapegoated. We will not stand by and watch as something happened. I read in the press today in Fife, where a Muslim takeaway shop was under attack by some local people claiming that they were being attacked because they supported IS. You know, it's a disgrace, and we have a responsibility as local people to stand up against that. We have to build a better society that puts people first, that doesn't allow the voices of reaction, of hatred and division to win over. So let's, of course, stand tonight and remember the victims of Paris and Beirut and Nigeria, Iraq and Afghanistan, Palestine, all remember. Let's remember them. But let's go a better world and fight for living. That's what will bring about real change. It's ordinary people getting out there and stand up to build a better society that does away with war and does away with terror permanently. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Jim. And before I introduce our next speaker, I'd just like to say thank you for the Deputy Lord Provost, Christine Roberts, who's with us here tonight. Our next speaker is from Dundee University Students Association and one of the organisers of this event this evening. Please welcome Omar.
Hello everyone, my name is Omar Mustafa. I'm the Vice President of Engagement of DUSA, and I would like to thank everyone for coming tonight. In the last couple of days, we've all been saddened about the events that happen in the world. Attacks in Paris, attacks in Beirut, attacks in Baghdad. I'm not here, I'm a Muslim myself, I'm not here to... Islam has no religion or race. I'm here to say a word about refugees. A lot of what some people will start blaming refugees for what happened in Paris and what happened in France. The way how I see it is that we all have one common enemy, and that's terrorism. Refugees are escaping the same enemy that carried on the attacks in Paris. Tomorrow in the UK, there will be the first plane of refugees that will come into the UK. I think we'll be accepting some refugees in Dundee sometime soon. The way how I see it is that we need to show our complete support to refugees. We need to stand against media stigma, and we need to stand against attacks against them. These people are innocent, and we should support them. Thank you a lot for coming, and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, Omar. And Omar represents students from both our universities who've been supportive of this event of refugees as set up in Dundee and the surrounding area over the last few months. One of them, I'd like to call on Gemma from Tayside Action for Refugees, who's one of the organisations behind today's event. Gemma.
I'm so proud as a Dundonian to see the people at Tayside standing together in solidarity. To offer our thoughts and condolences to the people of France. Sadly, France was not alone victim of terrorist action this week as attacks were carried out across the world and innocent people lost their lives. We must stand against hate, violence and intolerance. The violence and brutality we've witnessed this week is so alien and shocking to us. The number of people who are injured is hard to comprehend. The attacks in Paris to look for someone or something to blame. This is the fear and the potential division that terrorists want. They work to rob us of our freedoms. Freedoms we cherish so much that we must stand together in unity with our friends and our neighbours. We must embrace life. Eternity is granted to nobody. Hold your family near, enjoy the company of friends. Take the time to remember those whose lives were cut short. I represent Tayside Action for Refugees. We only set up 8 weeks ago. Visions of children dying while trying to flee war-torn countries were so unjust. Mothers and fathers struggling to carry their children in boats across the ocean. Walking in the rain as they travelled through Europe on foot and crumbling under the gravity of the situation they were in drove me to want to do something. I'm a mother of 2. I would hope if either of my children were ever in desperate need of help, somewhere in this vast world, one person, one mother would hand out her hand to help them. Initially, built and raised and insulated wooden shelters and housed over 100 vulnerable people. We want to go and help refugees to have safe passage through Europe, to help them cross through Europe to access food, drinking water and dry clothes. We've also offered services alongside other groups to the Council in Dundee to help support the refugees coming to Scotland. The first Syrian refugees in the relocation programme are arriving in Scotland tomorrow. These people are fleeing the same terror we have seen so close to our own homes this week, but for them it's been relentless. Let us help these people. Let us accept them, welcome them into our communities and help them to integrate, be a neighbour and be a friend. Civilised people of all faiths or of no faiths must show unity against the ongoing threat of terrorism and demonstrate that brutal force will achieve nothing. Individuals may be capable of doing terrible things, but common human decency will prevail.
Thank you, Gemma. I was just saying, for me, I was in Paris in September 1986 when a series of bombs were going off in cafes in the Champs-Élysées that left over 170 wounded or dead. And I know after those events that the people of Paris and the solidarity that was shown to them and between them allowed them to stand up and to be united and to recover from that attack. And I'm sure the same thing will be true of this event. I think today is an expression of the love we're sending them, and as other people have said, sending love to those people in the other countries, in Syria, in Iraq, in Beirut, where similar events have happened. Our next speaker is from the Dundee Mosque. I'd like you to welcome Bashir Johan.
Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and organizer. Thank you for organizing this event, and especially to Umar and young lady. There is no justification whatsoever for this kind of terrorism took place in Paris, neither in Egypt, neither in Iraq or Palestine. So we condemn the Paris atrocity, and our sympathy goes towards the loved ones and the families, and I hope our governments, they try to sort out this situation by political negotiations, and we do not give them chance for this kind of atrocity took place in Paris last week. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Bashir. Our next speaker is Bruce White, who will also give us a song. After we have a song from Bruce, we'll have a minute's silence, and then we'll have Nikki Lawson back to sing to us again. So will you please welcome Bruce White.
Hi, my name's Bruce White, and I work with the Attic Charity in Kirkton, and I'm also the pastor of Kirkton Church. And I've just been asked to share a few thoughts from the Christian community. So thank you everyone for coming on a cold night, and I think this is a really important thing that we're doing tonight. But I think it's also important to note that we are very concerned of what happens in Paris, but also want to think of those in Beirut who've lost 43 people to ISIS bombers on Thursday. And we also want to welcome those who are fleeing from the likes of ISIS as refugees. And we want to stand with organisations like Dundee Refugee Support and other groups and efforts to help the refugees. And I was just thinking, how should we respond to this situation? what can we do? And I just want to share 3 things as a Christian and from the Christian community. We really want to pray, we really want to bring peace, and we really want to offer practical help. In the Bible it talks about that Christians have a responsibility to pray for those in authority, that we're to uplift those that have positions of power. So I want to encourage you, if you do pray, please pray for our leaders. Our leaders need the real wisdom. There's difficult decisions to be made, and they affect all our lives. And whether we agree with leaders or not, if you pray, we have a responsibility to pray for our leaders. In the book of Psalms it said, "The Lord gives strength to his people. The Lord blesses his people with peace." We really need to pray for peace in our world and in these countries. And we really need to pray for peace and comfort for those that have lost someone, especially at this time. We need to pray for peace for those that are hurting, for those that are still in hospital, for those that are angry. There's a saying, hurt people. And we have to move in a different spirit. We need to come against violence. We need to come against violence with peace. We need to stop war with love. We need to change hate with showing compassion. Psalms also say, "Turn from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." We need to be peace bringers, not war bringers. We all have a responsibility to turn from our own demons, to do good, to seek peace. Because I can talk about peace all I want. We can all talk about peace, but words come cheap. If we're not seeking to bring peace to those around us, we don't have the authority to tell anyone else. And there's another saying that says, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And we need to demonstrate how much we care. And I've been really encouraged by my city of Dundee and the hearts of compassion. Just look around us right now. People are here. We're all here because we have compassion for what is going on. And someone sent a few messages to a few Christian leaders to say I'm sharing, and if you felt I should share anything. And someone sent me this verse from Isaiah. It says, "Shelter those running away from the killing fields." And I think there's a dangerous time at the moment. We need to not allow hate, fear, or anger to misguide our actions. That we can be. And as a Christian, I look to Jesus and I see Jesus who was full of compassion. And he was very practical about the needs of people. When people were hungry, he fed them. When people were sick, he healed them. When people were thirsty, he gave them something to drink. And Jesus loved his enemies, those who hated him. And there are practical things that we can do. There's going to be opportunities to respond to what's happened in Paris and places around the world. But we also need to continue to support the projects and charities in our city that seek to help those in suffering, to seek to help those that are running away from the killing fields, whether it's the Refugee Support Centre, whether it's homeless charities like Eagle's Wings. There's so many different great projects and charities here in our city that continually to need our support. And we're going to need to support and stand with the refugees when they come to our city. Mother Teresa said, "Small things with great love." Sometimes the need is so great, you think, well, what can we do? Well, we can all do small things with great love. And if every single person went away today saying, we're going to do a small thing with great love, we could do a great thing together. I'm going to finish with a song. In 2013, there was a Lebanese runner who ran from Beirut to Paris, 9,000 kilometers, and I was really inspired by that. And she did that because she wanted to see peace come to the Middle East. And she lives in Paris, and I sent her a message to see that she was okay. And so the lyrics of this song are kind of like the last line of this song says, "Let peace reign." And that is my prayer for us tonight. I follow Jesus, who's called the Prince of Peace. And this is my prayer, that we will pray for peace, that we will seek and demonstrate peace, and will not stand at the sidelines and do nothing, but we will act and show that Dundee is a city of compassion, and that we are willing to reach out to our brothers and sisters. With God's help and with each other's helps, we can and will love our enemies. We'll rise above hate, and we'll show love and compassion. Thank you. To Beirut. Running through from Paris to Beirut for peace and liberty all across the world. And every step for every life that's lost, the streets weep for everyone across the world. There's a rhythm that is beating, I feel it when I run. The love is stronger, peace is better, world we overcome. So I'm running, heart is pumping, loving all I see. So many people, vibrant people right before my eyes. Running through the different tribes and culture clubs, believing in everyone, small things with great. Mandela's gone, his Tower bell is still ringing strong. He's crying and shouting out, let peace reign. We gotta 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 let peace reign. Is our prayer? Let peace reign. Let peace reign. Let peace reign. Let peace reign. We gotta let peace reign.
Thanks very much indeed, Bruce. I'd now like to ask everybody to join in a minute's silence. Thank you all very much. I'd like to thank our speakers tonight, Jim, Bashir, Omar, Gemma, Bruce, and Nicky for his song, and he's away to give us another song shortly. The council have asked me to say that they've got a book of condolence opened for the victims of Paris. It's in the city chambers, the central door there just below the flag on the balcony, and that will be open not just tonight but for a few days to come, and you're encouraged to sign that to further demonstrate your support and solidarity for the people of Paris. There are here which have been put out for anybody that wants to make a contribution, taste action for refugees. And mostly thank you to yourselves. There's a good few hundred of you who've come out in the cold tonight to show your support and solidarity and to show your goodness and support for what's happened and to want to make a difference, to say it doesn't have to be this way. So thank you all very much. And to close our event tonight, a further song from Nicky Lawson.
This is a song that was written for a global audience, and I think it still resonates today. And by a beautiful coincidence, it borrowed the first couple of bars from Le Marseillaise, the French national anthem. So I'd like to give that a go.
final thought before everyone leaves. Tayside refugees is relatively new, and we're building all the time. So